there is nothing to worry about if the followers have dropped, the count has dropped. Everything that you do boils down to engagement. Again, engagement is pivotal in maintaining your community. By introducing hashtags, you're allowed to use up to 10 hashtags. Make sure you use those hashtags because it's going to make your content more discoverable. Engagement is what determines how popular your account is. Hi, my name is Sonamm Sharma, and as you all know, I am a digital marketer. I do some acting, theatre-related work. I'm also an artist and a marketing and a branding consultant. Now, the purpose of having this workshop and this masterclass essentially is to actually give you certain, best practices, rather, I would say, or tips, and a couple of things that we normally know that we do, but we don't know if you're doing it right. I've got this board. I don't know if you can see, but this is kind of it's like a roadmap. It's going to take me through, and it's going to take you through what I'm going to actually talk about today. And the first thing before I start, and I talk about other things and, what is important and what is not important and what is it that you're doing right and what is it that you're doing wrong. The first thing that I really need to clear is a lot of the people on the Instagram platform have been recently. There has been a bit of a decline of followers on a lot of accounts, whether it's it's a smaller account, if it's a large account like in a couple of thousand followers or 1 million followers and stuff, and people have noticed a sudden fall. Now that's happening because Facebook, which actually runs Instagram and WhatsApp and Facebook itself, they decided to do this cleanup of fake accounts, of bot accounts, and that's how, if your followers have dropped, there is nothing to worry about. My only thing here to tell you is that, there is nothing to worry about if the followers have dropped, the count has dropped, because it's gone, the wrong, the dirt kind of has gotten kind of cleared up. And I think it's very important and it's essential, because ultimately, what is Instagram? Instagram is about building a community. Now that brings me to the introduction part, the first part of what I'm going to say today. And it says, it is about community and not vanity. Let's get past the numbers vanity. Let's get past the whole fact that you need to have, say, a 10,000. Yes, you do need to have 10,000 followers to have that swipe up link and all of that, but even accounts with like 2,000, 3,000 followers can make up for great influencers, and they can make up for great social media branding partners, because brands are always looking for really quality accounts, and they actually run checks on your account. They see how much engagement you have on every post, what is the kind of visual language that you have, what is the personality of your business or whoever it is that the Instagram account belongs to. Now, saying that, we all want to grow our accounts. It sounds good, huh? We have 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers. Some people have 1,000 followers. I know people who are struggling to get even 1,000 followers. Now, there must be something that you're doing. You're missing something, right? That you're not being able to grow beyond a certain amount. So it could be a lot of things. It could be, at the end of the day, let me just put it very, very clearly, very, very cleanly. Instagram loves that you love it, which basically means that the more amount of time that you spend on the platform, however you do it, whether you do it through posting stories, through posting, feed content, through IGTV videos, through live streaming like this, any which way that you kind of engage with your community on the platform, which actually tells and signals the algorithm of the platform that, this person is very dear to me, because he or she spends a lot of time on me, and everybody likes that. So Instagram also wants your attention. It also wants your attention beyond just you doing things for yourself. It wants your attention for you to actually engage with other accounts as well. Now that brings me to a very, very important aspect of the account or of the platform, which is basically, what is your objective from the platform? What do you want to use Instagram for? Is it, are you just a regular person who wants to grow their Instagram account? I get that, that's we make it sound very easy. Obviously celebrities have it easy, so everything that they post, even if they put two emoticons, they get like 1 million likes or whatever. But if you're a regular person and you're trying to get in the race of becoming a social media influencer, you have to pay a lot of emphasis and attention to the quality of your content and developing a voice, a personality of your personal brand. If you're a business, you could have multiple objectives. You could have, you may want to sell your products. You may want to capture leads from your Instagram account and bring them onto your website. You may want to just have a great visibility, because there are a lot of NGOs and there are a lot of smaller community sort of accounts that are, cropping up on the landscape, social media landscape a lot these days because of causes. There's something that we call woke marketing, which basically means that when you are doing something for a noteworthy, noble cause, and those are the accounts which deal with a lot of interesting topics, subjects. So for example, right now it's the breast cancer awareness month, and you'll see a lot of the brands are engaging with the hashtags to do with. Today is International Girl Child Day, which basically means a lot of the women-centric platforms are doing their bit, and they're getting onto the platform. They're doing stories. They're doing multiple things, polls, questions, everything related to the trending hashtag today, to the day, right? Similarly, if you are, it depends entirely. If you're looking at growing Instagram for your business, or if you're if you want to grow the platform for your personal branding, it's got completely different results. It's got completely different things that you have to look forward to while doing that. Now that actually brings me to another aspect of, I keep going back to this because I have to keep moving in a sequence so that you also understand how is it that we'll proceed from setting up an account to actually gaining more followers. Now, your bio, your Instagram bio, there's something that we always kind of tend to overlook. We see a lot of quirky bios, we see a lot of bios with links and those bitleys and all of that, and sometimes the bios are completely empty. They just leave it like that, and or they put their zodiac signs, and people put all sorts of crazy things there, so which is fine if that's how you want to define yourself, which is, it's absolutely okay with me. However, your bio, that's the first thing people see. Your bio has to be like your business card. It has, if you're a personal brand, and if you're just a regular person who wants to sound quirky, then by all means do so and be quirky. However, have a very simple and a very catchy one-liner. So for example, I'm going to try and share. So I follow a lot of these accounts, and I think I'm sure you all have heard of Jay Shetty, and Jay Shetty happens to have a very, very interesting bio. Now, if you can see, something's just happened here. He's just removed it in the last couple of minutes. So he says purpose coach. And there was something very interesting that he had written next to it. So he keeps changing that. He keeps evolving as per his audiences and how, they see him, and however he engages with his active audiences. So he's got a brilliant profile, and he's got all these, obviously I'm reading his book also right now, so that's another reason why I'm kind of very, very intrigued by his Instagram account. And he's got an interesting, he puts third-party content, he puts his own content, he puts infographics, he shares live videos, he shares about his work, about people that he follows, and things like that. So that's one account that I would suggest that you go on to. Similarly, I mean Jay Shetty obviously is a big guy, but you have a lot of people who come up with really cool funny and really cool bios. Whereas if you are an Instagram business account, then you have to be slightly more careful. Now, let me share, if I can share the screen with you. There is this account called Wholesome Culture, and let me see if I can. Wholesome Culture. It goes like this. Let me know if you can see it. They are actually an all vegan apparel company, and they come up with all sorts of interesting things. Now, I really like their bio because of the visual language. Obviously, they have hefty amount of followers, as you can see. But I love the way they've kind of decorated their Instagram highlights. The covers that they've made. Even though they don't follow a certain like a grid format, which I'll come to. Actually, a lot of people mistake that for something which is very cool, but ultimately helps. It doesn't help. So they do a lot of interesting photos and pictures, and the photography, the emphasis that you see on a lot of quality photography, and quotes and other things. Now, if you go through their account, I mean, obviously, I'm doing this so that I can just sort of show you what all it is, what all that stuff that I like and I kind of subscribe to and I understand as good, best, good to best practices for Instagram. Now, it's something that we all understand. However, we obviously we're using we're using Instagram on our phones. We're using iPhones. We're using Samsungs. We're using all sorts of phones. Your phone comes with a very kick-ass camera, by the way. So you make sure that you have enough lighting, you take good pictures if you're posting pictures of yourself. And then there are certain best practices that we follow and certain things that we do with every post or everything that we put out on Instagram that makes it reach even more than what we want it to reach. In the sense, like, you have hashtags that people, so a lot of the times people don't use enough hashtags, and there is a hue and cry about why use 30 hashtags, why can't we just use 9 hashtags. A lot of the marketing agencies, a lot of the marketers will tell you, go for 9 to, why not? If you've got 30 hashtags, if you've got a limit by Instagram, by all means use them. And if you don't want your audiences to see those hashtags, you can put them in the captions. It's not going to change much. It's in fact going to pull in the same amount of audiences. However, you need to know which hashtags to use. Not every hashtag will fetch you eyeballs. Not every hashtag will get you the amount of reach or get you discovered online. You need to know which hashtags and which combinations to use, and never repeat them onto your posts. Or if you repeat them, then change the sequence around a bit. Do certain things that will not, sort of take you in the same zone of people. Now, when we start with the best practices, I'll come to hashtags a little later because that comes in the engagement practices, which is my rule of the NHS, which I'll come to later. I'm going to start with another thing, which is, so the best practices for Instagram. Now, I've got the 3 listed. I'm going to elaborate on them slowly. But the first thing is your experimenting with your content style. What does that mean? Now, experimenting with your content style could mean that instead of just posting pictures, you could do quotes like you saw for the wholesome culture thing. You could do Instagram infographics are huge now. Now, why is that? Infographics, or if you see a lot of these zodiac posts that do exceedingly well onto the platform, that is that's one reason why zodiacs are very, very highly rated hashtags. So you have to be very active and to be able to know which zodiac hashtags will work for you if you are into that kind of niche. So zodiacs, mental health, spiritual hashtags are doing exceedingly well, obviously because of the lockdown as well. Why is that? Now, if you see, there's something called Carousel Posts, which basically means you have 9 swipes, which basically means 10 pictures, up to 10 pictures that you can post as a feed post onto your Instagram. What does that do? Everything on Instagram, literally every single thing on Instagram, boils down to the fact that the amount of time that you spend onto the platform is directly proportional to your reach and then to the amount of followers you gain. And the probability of you getting discovered. So if you're spending say if you're spending say a minute on a 10 picture post, that automatically kind of amplifies the amount of time that you're spending and engaging with your audiences or with your community, your followers, your following. And that is signaling to the platform that you are an active user. So Instagram is going to like you. It's going to say, okay, wow, Zaffarah, my account, for example, if I'm browsing through certain astrology accounts and stuff, and I'm going through every post and I'm liking, even if I'm not liking, I'm just browsing through he's going to say, I mean, I'm saying Instagram, I'm calling Instagram he, but he, she, whoever it is, Instagram as an embodiment of a person is going to say, wow, this person is spending so much time. I'm going to show her more of these accounts, and I'm going to make sure that she spends more time on my platform. So that's what it does. So it's a very, very smart algorithm, and you can't beat it. So if you think that I will jump to that, I will jump to the last bit, which is saying no artificial methods. If you think you can buy followers, if you think you can buy all these, the $1,000 and you get so many followers and people promise all sorts, you can do that. It might just give your account a boost. However, it's going to damage your account long term. Why is that? Because Instagram is not going to push you onto its explore pages where you automatically organically show. It's not going to it's going to recognize you. It's going to flag you as a suspicious account. It might just put a ban on you. There's something called shadow ban. Google it after this masterclass and you'll find out what it's about. And most of these things come from a lot of these bot or BOUGHT bot followers, because they may not be real. They're all automated accounts which are dead or fake, and they don't understand the context of your content, right? So if they don't understand the context of your content, they might just put a very irrelevant comment, or just an emoticon, because they're programmed to do so. And it's ultimately not really doing much. You can, like I said, a lot of I mean, I know of companies and I know of brands who've bought followers, and that's because they wanted to show a spike in the numbers, and they do that. People do that. I'm not saying they don't, but and even in 2020, after Instagram, Facebook has done a lot of the cleanups of the dead and the fake followers and accounts. There are still companies, there are still third-party agencies which are giving these services. Some of them are also quite trusted, because brands, like I said, big brands and companies are using it. However, it's not advisable. And the more you can grow organically, especially for personal brands, especially for regular people like us, who want to engage with the community, who want to develop a nice niche following, who want people to know what is it that we do and our services, etc. So, for example, I do multiple things, and I was very confused initially. How do I develop a strategy, or how do I develop a brand around my Instagram? And it took me a while. It took me about 5 years to grow my account to a 40K. 35K, sorry, 35 to 37K, and then it immediately shot up with one web series that I did. So obviously, if you get popular online, or if you are a YouTube personality and stuff, you're bound and likely to get more followers very quickly. But that's a different ball game. I'm talking about people who are doing everything they can in their control to develop a personal brand. So, for example, I'm also a branding consultant, I'm also an artist. Now, how do I promote those services without being a celebrity? And I need to know exactly, the strategy, and I need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan for Instagram, you are not going to succeed very quickly. It's going to take you a while, because because there's a lot of trial and error with Instagram, regardless of whether you have a plan or not. So if you have a plan and then you do all the trials and errors, it makes more sense. So coming back to so no artificial methods for sure, but have and develop a strategy. Strategy basically means the voice. You want to cultivate a brand for yourself, for your business, that is going to take your products, your services to another level. They're going to have, your products, your services going to have, have a loyal fan base, and people would want to engage and buy off you, whatever it is that you're offering. So to have a plan for that, and that also means that if you're a business, then you sit down with your teams and you decide, okay, you know what, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays are good days for us to post. So, and you know, you will go into your insights and stuff, you can see all that data, you can see what times work best for your brand and yourself, and what, and based on those insights you can come up with a strategy and say, okay, we're going to do so many posts, you know, like a calendar basically. So develop a calendar, know what you're going to post, know what kind of posts do well, have a visual language of sorts. However, saying that, you know, a lot of the people, so I was coming back to the point of the grids. Now you'll see a lot of fashion accounts, you know, a lot of fashion accounts have these really cool multiple grid pictures, which basically means like a 6 photo thing onto their Instagram, and it makes one large picture. So 6 chotu photos will make one big picture, you know, and it looks beautiful. It looks stunning. If you know, the interface looks absolutely gorgeous. However, if you keep doing that every now and then, if you keep doing it every other day, I had a client and she had a complaint and she said, Sonamm, you know, my followers have dropped ever since I started doing grid, but my feed is looking gorgeous. I said, you know, people are not interested in how your feed is looking if you're not giving them anything to take away. What do your followers want? They want your services. They want to know what are you up to. Fine, you're giving them one. If you cut my face into 4 parts, you're going to see one eye here, one eye there, lips. That's it. I mean, what is it going to do? It's got and also it's got the same amount of text and content as any other regular post. So you're repeating and you're literally bothering your followers. So they'll obviously unfollow you. They'll say, oh, what the heck, you know, I'm seeing the same thing 10 times over and every other day. So people lose. It's also called visual fatigue. People lose interest. So you'll see a lot of the fashion designers and makeup artists and beauty bloggers, you know, sometimes they tend to lose followers, and it's been a while now that the grid has come into the whole social media thing, and people have been exploiting it left, right, and center. It has worked for some accounts, it hasn't, because if you overdo it, it's not going to fetch you any followers. So make sure if you use grids, if you want to make your feed look strikingly beautiful, there are other ways as well. But if you're using grid, you don't do it very often, and you don't bore your audiences, and you don't push them away, because they will get annoyed after a point. So that's one thing I just wanted to bring to your attention. So just don't fall for the grid thing. Make sure you have a great camera and you take good pictures. Good pictures work like a charm. There is nothing beating raw content. Instagram loves raw. I keep saying that. It loves raw. No templates, no grids. If you have a great raw picture, it'll work like a charm. You just need to be more creative as to how to click a nice photograph. Be more creative in photography, perhaps, with your copywriting skills, perhaps, with your hashtags, perhaps, you know, with your strategy, perhaps. So Instagram is actually giving you an entire platform to you know, sharpen your creative skills, whether, you know, it's design skills, artistic skills, creative photography skills, your writing skills, all sorts. So you have to keep practicing and knowing, sense the pulse of your audiences, understand what they like, what they don't like. Sometimes you put a picture and you think, this is going to do well. It doesn't. And other times you post something just random and out of the blue and it does exceedingly well, and you're wondering what happened there. Now that could also be the timings of your posting. That's another important aspect of Instagram. Based on the behavior of the users. For example, if you're the user, based on the behavior, your behavior with the platform, it's going to have slightly different times and timings of postings for every different user, where their content will automatically get the boost to reach out to a wider audience. So for example, for me, it's always after 9 o'clock in the night, or, you know, really wee hours of early mornings, of say 4 o'clock. So which is strange because I wake up, I stay awake late, so I do things very, very late onto the platform. However, it doesn't work like that for everyone. So you have to check your insights, go into your demographics, see how far and how much is your reach, and at what times, determine the right timings of postings, and then post accordingly. And make sure you don't post, so you'll see if you go into the insights, you'll see the peak, right? When the bars, the graph, when it goes up, you have to post right at the beginning of that peak. So for example, my peak timing is, say, for example, 10 p.m. It makes sense if I post around 9:30, so say half an hour to 45 minutes, just before I know it's going to reach hit the peak timing, right? And just after you post, which is between 45 minutes to 30 minutes, actually between 30 minutes to an hour, engage with your audiences. That's the time when people will comment, they're going to like your posts, they're going to do all sorts of things. And that is the time when you should keep, you should be active. You should be on the platform within the first hour of you posting a picture, or you posting something, or you doing a piece of content. You should be available for the first hour. And that's how your engagement will get a boost as well. Must-dos. So I'm going to come to that later, but what is it that we must do on Instagram to see a growth in our followers organically? Everything about Instagram, I'm saying it probably the nth time now, everything about Instagram is about the amount of time spent on the platform. However you do it, whichever way you do it well. First things first, consistency. How consistent are you with your postings? Are you posting, say, once a week or twice a week, then you forget about it, then you come back like 5 days later, and you do a random post, you don't put much thought into it? It's not going to get you any followers. I'm sorry to burst the bubble, but it's not going to get you any followers, because Instagram wants to see how much you love the platform, like I said. So consistency plays a huge role. Make sure you post consistently, and make sure you maintain that consistency, which basically means if I'm posting, say, every second day, then I must continue doing so. If you're posting every day, then you must try to live up to that as much as you can. I wouldn't suggest posting, however, some brands and businesses do subscribe to the idea of posting multiple times during the day, but it gets a little too much. And especially if you're a regular person, if you're a personal brand, you don't need to do that, even if you do once a day or once in 2 days. But you come up with really well thought of content and a great photograph or a great video, and then you build up. Instagram loves the sense of urgency, which is where I'll come to stories, and how stories can be leveraged. It's a beautiful engagement tool, more than the feed. The second, okay, time spent I've covered. Content stacking. Now this is where the stories part come in. Content stacking is a term that marketers use. Basically, you have a feed post, and then you top it up with a story, maybe cross-pollinated across other channels like Facebook. It's connected to your Twitter, to your other platforms, your Tumblr accounts, etc., if you're a blogger. However, or YouTube. But when it comes to the platform, when it comes to Instagram as a platform, content stacking basically means you develop a sense of urgency. So whatever it is that you're trying to post, which is where I say it's so important to know what you're going to post. Whatever it is that you're about to post tonight. So for example, I'm going to post something interesting tonight. I need to make it sound very, very interesting and very intriguing for my audiences to actually look forward to it. So I'm going to content stack it. So basically, I'm going to put out a teaser. I'm going to put out a teaser in the form of a, say, reel, or I'm going to put out a teaser in the form of a story, or an animated GIF or something or the other, or I'm going to just put a massive sticker onto my face on a story and saying, watch out, coming tonight, stuff like that. So that is called content stacking. And after you post, also you will say, you can directly share it to your stories, and you can say, watch out for my content. If it's an IGTV video, it gives you that link automatically, etc. So content stacking is extremely important. The more you bolster your front-running post, which is your feed post, the more you bolster it from different directions, the more likely it is to reach to a wider audience. And coming to stories. Now, stories has a very, very pivotal role to play onto the platform, because onto the platform in general now, because every other platform, even LinkedIn introduced stories recently. Twitter's got fleets now. The stories have become extremely very important, and I say that because a lot of the times people don't have that attention sort of span, that time to actually spend on a feed post and go through things, and they all, come back to it later, etc. So every 24 hours this keeps disappearing. That makes it a very engaging, a very sort of that sense of urgency, if you know what I mean. That sense of urgency makes it extremely, desirable. So people are now engaging more with stories than they are with feed content. So if I were to rate the various forms of content on Instagram in the order of their popularity, first is your stories. And now recently Reels have been really taking over. Reels are doing exceedingly well onto the platform. And then IGTV videos are doing exceedingly well as well. So stories make for excellent engagement strategies. So make sure you engage with the stories as much as possible. Make sure you use all of the Instagram stickers that you possibly can. There's a plethora of them. If you go into the GIFs that Instagram gives, you've got anything that you punch in for, you'll get at least 20, 30 different options. So you make sure you use your stickers, make sure you use your countdowns, your question and answers, your polls. That's how you engage with the audience. You want to develop, like I said, it's about community. It's not vanity anymore. It's not about numbers anymore. It's about developing a family. How do you make your Instagram audiences feel special? You talk to them. Everything on Instagram has to be conversational. It has to be two-way. If you think you're too big for your Instagram account and you're not going to, talk to your audiences, guess what? They're going to leave very, very soon. They're going to lose interest and they're going to leave. You literally need to have a relationship with the platform. That's the easiest way that I can describe Instagram. So you have to be in love with the platform. You have to let the platform know that you're going to give it that TLC, that undivided attention, that it's going to give you back in return followers, reach, impressions, whatever it is that it can give you. So it's very, very important that you think of Instagram as your virtual girlfriend or your boyfriend, and then you start operating from that space. Because if the moment you stop thinking about numbers and the moment you stop thinking about, oh my God, I have to grow numbers, I have to grow my follower base, I have to grow my following, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have to, the moment you stop that, you change the Instagram game, because then you focus more on how to produce quality content, how to give your audiences something to take back, and things that they will cherish, things that they would want to follow. So you have to sort of shift your sort of perspective a little bit and not worry about numbers so much. Then we come down to, okay, so I included the Instagram features and stickers and all of that. Two more important must-dos, if you can possibly do that. I know a lot of you people will be shy. You don't want to come onto videos. You don't want to do reels. You don't want to do, you don't want to show yourself. But that's not how Instagram will give you followers. Instagram likes bold. It likes confidence. It likes people to engage with its features. So IGTV is live streaming, or IGTV, the two video content options that you have on Instagram that will really help you grow. Whether I don't know what you want to do it on, it doesn't matter, as long as you're showing face. Like right now, you're seeing me, I'm human, I'm talking to you. It is a completely different experience, and I think this is kind of skyrocketed after the lockdown and the whole pandemic phase, because we're all virtually available now for each other. We're there. What we used to have with people physically now is happening online, right? I would give this workshop, for example, say at in a space, in a classroom. However, I'm doing it in a digital environment right now, and people, to some extent, it's psychological. It's also what circumstances you're in right now. That the virtual world, the online world, the digital world is really growing in terms of its presence in people's lives, and it's high time that we all show face and do something with it. So if Instagram is giving you those features, why not use it? Reels. Now, Reels was basically developed after the whole TikTok thing came into action, and obviously the fiasco and everything went haywire after that. TikTok's taken down from India. But Reels is your Insta equivalent of the TikTok. What Reels does is, and why Reels is important, and why Reels is getting a lot of attention, and a lot of people are getting followers because of the Reels, is because the algorithm on Reels has not been quite figured out yet. For a platform like Facebook that changes algorithms every few hours, I would say, not even a few days, every few hours of the day, they change their algorithm so that users can't beat it. Instagram Reels is the only algorithm that you can actually beat right now by doing more of their content and leveraging the hashtags and reaching a wider audience, because for some reason it just takes you out there and puts you up on the explore page. And mostly a lot of my fashion blogger friends or beauty bloggers or actors and entertainers, these guys are using Reels. But even if you're not one of those professions, you can actually find out really cool ways of engaging with the Reels, because Reels is something that's going to stay for a bit. And make sure you leverage that, because that gives your account a major boost in terms of followers. So Reels is definitely something you must try. Another thing that you must include while you're doing your stories, I forgot to mention that earlier, but if you use hashtags for your stories, a lot of people don't. We use stickers, we do different things, but we don't use hashtags. Now I'm going to get to that in the rule of the NHS, but I'm just going to touch upon it a little bit and tell you that using hashtags, though it may not skyrocket your follower increase completely, or it may not just take you from like 5 to say 50 or 100, but it'll take you from 5 to 15, and that's something. And when consistently that happens consistently on your account, Instagram reads it as a growing, active, engaging account, which basically means that it's going to start pumping in more time, effort, and energy onto your account, which is where more people will see it, which is where more chances of you getting discovered and being followed. So everything boils down to how you're making Instagram feel about itself. Again, amount of time spent is directly proportional to your growth. So make sure you're engaging with your audiences, make sure you're active, make sure you're putting thought into your content, make sure you have a strategy, make sure you're loving your own stuff. The best thing is if you believe in your content, if you believe that you're bringing something noteworthy to the platform, Instagram is going to push it regardless. And that brings me to the last part of the must-dos, and that is call to action. Now, what is a call to action? A call to action for a person like me, for example, I sometimes don't want a call to action. I just want people to view the content. However, I might just ask them for a poll on my stories. So I may put a piece of artwork, for example, or I may put up a piece of content, a video that I want people to see. And I may not ask them a question whether you liked it or you didn't like it and stuff, but maybe something relevant. So for example, if I'm doing something on women empowerment, I may share my post to the story, and the call to action may have a poll. And I may say, would you stand up against Eve teasing, for example? And then I say yes, no, maybe, whatever, however I want to place my content on my stories. So that's call to action. Every post story or post via story, Reels, your IGTV, as much as much as possible, if you can try and incorporate a call to action, it just makes the user, it prompts the user to take immediate action. So a lot of the times you will see a lot of these, again, I'm coming back to the Zodiac accounts, because these Zodiac accounts are doing exceedingly well these days, and mental health accounts as well. And these guys do a lot of these double tap, if you agree, or these law of attraction posts. If you see all these secret and law of attraction posts and higher perspectives and the good quote, all these accounts which are about positivity, which are about spiritual dimensions and astrology and all of these things, they're doing exceedingly well. Because they cater to that, to that side of the human mind, which is looking for some sort of validation, and that is psychological. And B, it is also catering to feel good content, see that they're doing exceedingly well because they have amazing visuals, whether it's in the form of doodles, whether it's in the form of pictures, whether it's in the form of just direct infographics. And also because they have a very clean, clear, crisp call to action. So double tap if you affirm something amazing is about to happen to you today. Tap if you agree. And now, even if I don't want to tap, I would want to tap, if you know what I mean. So those are all playing with, you understand the sense of your, the pulse of your audiences, and then you develop and design content. I'm not saying that it's going to, it's going to be a very quick game for you guys. It's going to take you a while to figure it out, but it's okay. Even if it takes a while, that's absolutely fine. As long as you're understanding your community and then you're catering to that community, it's going to give you more. Instagram is going to give you more of those people, right? For example, the wholesome culture account that I just showed you. I'll try and show you again. Now this is a vegan outfit. This thing, sort of apparel. I've lost it. Anyway, wholesome culture. So it's got a niche, and the niche is eco-friendly, environment-friendly, vegan. So we don't know how many vegans in this country, but it has about 3,000 followers. So which basically means that there's a huge you have content for every group, every category bucket of people. So don't worry about, oh, will I get followers because I do this, and it's something so unique, maybe I won't get followers. If you're unique, use that to your advantage. In fact, unique accounts do way better than generic accounts. So if you're unique, highlight that uniqueness. You incorporate that as part of your strategy and your Instagram plan, and I'll promise you it's going to work like a charm for you, because uniqueness is so appreciated, especially on a platform. So till 2018, Instagram was more male users vis-a-vis women users. Now, the sort of balance has kind of moved in favor of women, and 52% women users, and sensitive users, I would say, have come onto the platform, which is why it makes it, according to a study in the US, it makes it one of the most popular platforms on the social media space, is because of the issues, the sensitive, content that it deals with. There are a lot of campaigns, a lot of things, a lot of communities, NGOs, a lot of interesting things that you can actually now talk about openly on Instagram. I remember there was this actress Salma Hayek. She did a very interesting campaign with a brand. I'm forgetting the name of the brand, but it was called. Uh, can't say no to haters, or something like that. So basically against which was against cyberbullying. So I'm sure all of you, especially if you're above 10K, like I get a lot of those every now and then, cyberbullies, and you don't know how to deal with that. So say no to cyberbullying, and she came up with a doodle contest, and then she came up with something. It was in association with a makeup brand. So all these brands are engaging with a lot of these interesting campaigns, a lot of these interesting content creators. Now that was Salma Hayek, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a niche, or you don't have a cause that you can support. Content content creators are always content creators, which is you guys. You need to understand one thing very clearly. No matter how big or how small your account is, brands are always looking out for content creators. It does not matter if it's a good brand, and if they are smart, and if they have a smart marketing person, they're not going to just see your numbers. They're going to see how how you voice your personality on Instagram, how you engage with your audiences, what is it that you support, what is it that you feel strongly about, what is your content talking about, what is it that you wear on your sleeve that you can easily give away to a brand that they can leverage and use for their advantage, because every brand engages in some cause, some noteworthy popular thing, and they are looking for really cool content creators. Like I said, numbers really don't matter anymore, especially after the fall of the bots and all of these things happening, all these numbers going down just generally globally. And the trend has changed, algorithms have changed, everything has changed. Now it's become extremely difficult to get more followers. But if you continue to practice these small things, over a period of time, you will notice a surge in your numbers, and that's a promise. It's just that you have to be consistent, you have to spend a lot of time onto the platform, you have to let it know that you love it, and you have to keep doing that. And every day you have to show up. Every day. You cannot, like I said, it's your virtual boyfriend or your virtual girlfriend, so you cannot not give it attention because it's craving for that attention, and you have to give it. It also does not mean that you only become, you become self-centered and selfish and just keep posting things about yourself, and you don't engage with your users, your engagers, your community. Because everything on Instagram boils down to two things: your time spent and how you are nurturing that community, that feeling of community. Now we come to the last part. Actually, I have one more. I thought I'll introduce that, but we may not have time for that. But I'm going to quickly introduce you to my rule of engagement, which is called the rule of the NHS. Engagement is what determines how popular your account is. Now we all know what reach is, how much your post, the amount of numbers, the numbers that your post reaches, obviously makes for a reach of the post. But then there are impressions. What are impressions? Impressions are how many times, or if they've been viewed over and over again. So that obviously the numbers of impressions are more than your reach. But when you go into your insights, and when you see that your reach is, it's doing well, and you'll see it. Now if you start doing all these things from this week and the following 10 days, you notice a sudden change in the greens, as opposed to the reds on your insights. And when you see that, it's going to give you that bit of encouragement, and it's going to tell you, okay, I'm in the right direction. So when you see those greens and you know that your reach is increasing, your impressions are increasing, demographics have widened, people are engaging with your posts and stories more, do whatever, however it makes you motivated to create more and quality content. Engagement plays a very important role. So everything that you do boils down to engagement. Again, engagement is pivotal in maintaining your community. And how do you engage? Like we discussed, we do it via stories, we do it via call to actions, we do it via live streaming, we do it via conversations, we do it via polls, via question and answers, a whole lot of things, a bunch of ideas that I can throw at you right now. But the three most essential things that determine a person's engagement, and that will help you, that will take you forward and help you make a good plan for yourself, I'm going to start in the reverse order: stories, hashtags, and the narrative. We've covered everything, but stories, because like I said, stories have more reach, stories have more engagement. By default, stories reach a wider audience. But how do you make it even more popular is by introducing hashtags. You're allowed to use up to 10 hashtags. Make sure you use those hashtags, because it's going to make your content more discoverable. And you can also tag people. So, but always remember to tag relevant people. So say if you're doing a post on mental health, you tag hospitals and mental health institutes. Or if you're doing a doodle post, you make sure you tag art discovery pages, but don't tag random people who are not going to take any interest. In fact, they might just ban you. So just be very sure who you tag, and have a mental list or prepare. I normally keep a doc or an Excel sheet of different sort of buckets of content that I want to explore, and then within that I have combinations of hashtags and tags and different accounts that I want to tag eventually. Sooner or later they will take notice. Even if you tag like a big account which has 1 million followers and stuff, if you keep tagging them in posts and stuff, obviously they're not going to ban you because they're too big to do that, but they might just take notice, and they might just if once you grow, they might just want to do a collaboration or something, or send you a product. You never know. That has happened to me, and which is why I say not, you can't rule out the possibility of being approached by really good brands if you keep tagging them and producing good content. Because I remember I used to do a lot of tagging and hashtagging and stuff, and I used to hide them, and I still do that sometimes. And even if I get a product from their retail outlet, I would still do a review and people would think that, oh, isko mila hoga, she must have gotten it, received it in post, and she's doing a review. No, I didn't. I just wanted to do a review because I thought it was a good product, and I didn't do it for everything, but I did it for a couple of products, and they liked it. And when they liked it, they actually started sending me stuff, and I started tagging them, and then you develop a long-term relationship with them. And that time, mind you, my followers, they weren't as many. I was maybe at maybe 7 or 8 grand, yeah, 7, 8 thousand followers, and but my content was very focused, and obviously I keep changing, deleting, reposting, and all of that. That's also something that you can include in your strategy. But you have to be very, very, like I said, thoughtfully produce content and tag, hashtag, use all of that in your stories. Stories, you can do polls. We've covered all those features. I don't think I want to repeat them all over again, but you guys know what to do. I think most of you know what features to use. It's just that we tend to underrate the importance of doing that, and I think we shouldn't. We should use Instagram features as much as possible. They're inbuilt features. Anything to do with Instagram, Reels, IGTVs, stories, stickers, create GIFs, animated GIFs, anything that you post, Q&As, DM me's, location, geotags, alt tags, which is for the visually impaired. Please, guys, when you go back after this masterclass, do Google alt tags on your feed post. How to use alt tags. Now, alt tags is something that I learned recently, and alt tags is actually used for visually impaired people. And every post will have an option of alt tags. And if you just go through it after this masterclass, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And you have to describe the photo, because it's done for, like I said, for visually impaired people. So you have to describe the photo, and you just enter it there. And trust me, it reaches, because of the SEO part of things, the technical things that we don't understand. It just makes it makes the feed go up in Explore, and in it makes the feed go up in home pages of your followers, really quickly, which was a magic trick, because I really didn't know this existed, and I didn't even know what alt tag was before I actually started experimenting with it. So make sure you go and do your homework and study this bit, because it's going to definitely help you if you start. But you need to know what caption and what to say. So that's why I say read up a little bit on it, and you'll understand that. Because I don't have the time to explain it right now, but if I could, I would tell you how to write alt tag captions also. Coming back to the NHS, quickly over hashtags. So we've covered stories. We're going backward. Hashtags, again, I've already told you that hashtags, up to 30 hashtags you're allowed to use on your feed post. In your stories, you're allowed to use up to 10 hashtags. Why not use all of them? If you can, then please do. And don't use hashtags such as beauty, hashtag gorgeous, hashtag girl, hashtag boy, hashtag love. Those hashtags, especially if you're a small account, if you're not in millions, it's not going to get you any eyeballs. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's just it's waste of space. It's waste of a hashtag. Make sure your combination of hashtags has three categories of hashtags. One is moderately popular hashtag. Secondly, your unique hashtag, which is your brand's hashtag. So for example, if I'm a brand and if I'm Zaffarah, then my hashtag would be hashtag Zaffarah. Or if it's an art brand, then I'll use my art brand's name. Spark.live will use hashtag Spark.live. Similarly, you have certain days and certain Insta hashtags, but you have to make sure that the hashtags that you use are not in millions, the followers are not in millions. So now you have the option of seeing the numbers of on the hashtag, the number of followers of those hashtags. So you have to make sure that you pick the right combination of hashtags. So for example, using a hashtag like a fashion blogger who works from India is not going to fetch that fashion blogger many eyeballs. However, if he or she uses hashtag fashion bloggers India, which probably has a lot less following, but at least an active, engaging following, and that's going to get you discovered more. So a combination of semi-popular to insta-popular to your unique hashtags. And seriously, there is no dearth of finding good hashtags, because you just have to experiment. It's a bit of a hit and trial, but make sure you don't use very or extremely popular hashtags, because again, it's a waste of space. It's not going to get you any eyeballs at all. Then we come to also another part of hashtags that I forgot to mention. Yeah, so hashtags, whenever you pick a hashtag that you follow, like you follow people, you can also follow hashtags. Make sure you follow the right hashtags, the stuff that is really relevant to your niche. And when you go and explore that hashtag, spend at least half an hour to an hour a day on that hashtag. And the top 9 posts are if you see the grid of the interface of Instagram, the top 9 posts on any hashtag are the most popular posts for the day, which basically means you have to go into each one of them, those 9 posts, and see who it belongs to. Try and engage with them if you can. Like their post, give them genuine comments. Don't leave like a smiley and a high five. That's not going to work. 2 emoticons are not going to work. Genuine conversational comments work. Drop them a comment, say you're fond of their content and you would like for them to see your content as well. You can do that. It's absolutely okay to have a two-way conversation and have a conversation. That's the base. If you're not engaging in a conversation with your competitors, I wouldn't call them competitors really, but with your community, people, inspirational accounts. There could be other fashion bloggers you want to follow. There could be other digital marketing agencies that I want to follow. There could be other content creating platforms that I want to be following, and I would like to engage with them. I would like for them to take notice of me too. So you have to try and see and dig a little deeper, explore those hashtags, find those, say, give yourself a target of, say, I'm going to find, say, 9 to 10 accounts today, and I'm going to put up like 1 comment on each, or like a few posts and stuff like that. When you do that over a period of time, those people will start taking notice, they start following you, and that's how the follow circle loop starts. Yeah, and then Instagram is going to push more of that content to you and push more of those accounts to you and make them follow you and show you in their feeds as well. So that's another trick that you must use. Coming to narrative. Now, narrative, okay, so there are many misconceptions around text on Instagram. You will hear a lot of people say, just put out 1 line and it should be enough, No, if it's not worth a line, then it's not enough. If you are giving a product review and you want to talk about it, then talk about it. Make sure that your content reads well. It's obviously your first line, the opening sentence has to be super catchy. It has to grab people's attention immediately. So you could start with a question, or you could start with a quote, or you could start with something that's going to just pique people's interest in the content, and not something boring, not something that people are just going to pass over. It has to be super eye-catching. So the first opening sentence has to be super eye-catching. A lot of times what I do is I capitalize my first few words, which is basically the opening sentence, and then I break it down. I break it, and then I put out the rest of the content, and again I break it into paragraphs. Mini blogging, guys. Mini blogging is the next huge thing on Instagram. I'll tell you why quickly. SEO, right? So the more keywords you use from your industry, from your niche, from your business, from your brand, in your content style, in your copywriters, in your blogs, the more reach it's going to have. So if you're a blogger, or if you are not even a blogger, if you're a brand, and if you're announcing an event, or if you're doing anything for that matter, but that requires a bit of a descriptive content, make sure you plug in whatever keywords that you can for it to reach a wider audience, not just on Instagram, but even in terms of your Google searches and stuff. Because now everything's become about how well your content plays up and shows up on Google. And make sure you have your locations tagged. Makes a world of difference. People have been questioning me a lot that, is it important to really include a location? Wherever possible, try and include your geotags and locations, because it just gives you that extra push, your content, that extra push. Tag relevant content creators, tag relevant accounts again, like you do it in your stories. You don't want people to see it, hide them. On feed, you can't hide them, obviously they'll have to click to see whoever is tagged, but tag relevant people. If you're doing something relevant, if you're doing an event in Delhi, there are many accounts on Instagram that repost for Delhi events. If you're doing an event in Bangalore, there are many Bangalore based accounts that will repost content for you. So you have to get noticed, and to get noticed you have to tag them. So mini blogging has become the next big thing on Instagram, and you shouldn't be afraid of putting out content which is lengthy and heavy. It's absolutely fine as long as you're making sense. Grammatically, it's correct. You are punctuating it well. You're spacing it enough so that it's not visually, it's not a lot to consume immediately. Because even with the eye, you need breaks. So try and make, capitalize certain words. Try different breaks and different symbols, break it down with emoticons, a combination of things that you can experiment with, and it'll work for sure. So yeah, I mean, I've covered most of what I could talk about today. Something else that I really wanted to cover, and we didn't include that in the format thing of the Spark.live introduction, actually. But it just occurred to me that a lot of you may have questions around monetizing your Instagram account, and a lot of the times the misconception plays up that you can be an influencer and monetize. Oh, that's not true. You don't need to be an influencer with a certain amount of numbers to monetize your account. There are multiple ways to monetize your Instagram account, including if you have something to teach, do that. If you can produce video content, product placements, approach brands. The everything boils down to the fact that how are you sort of grabbing the attention of the brands that you want to target? How are you getting them to notice you? The only way to do that is consistently posting good content, tagging people, tagging brands, tagging products, tagging whoever you think is within that bucket of people who might want to give you work or collaborate with you. You may have to do a few things for, pro bono initially, but that's okay as long as you start the activity. And there are multiple ways you can start selling products. I've made sales on my Instagram account by selling artworks for a good cause. And a part of that, me and my sister, both of us, we did a charitable thing, and everything that we earned from Instagram. And she doesn't have a lot of followers on her art page, neither do I. But even with 500 followers, but obviously I used to cross promote it through my Zaffarah account, and a lot of you kind people came up and bought things. So there are multiple ways to monetize Instagram, and now they're introducing the product tags as well. So again, you have to be a verified shopping account for that, but that we'll get into later, because that's again a whole, it's a rigmarole. You have to kind of pass through a certain process. But yeah, so most of it I've covered in this. I think we've run up to an hour now for the masterclass, and I hope it'll make some sense. I hope it'll bring some sort of results. If you keep doing what I've mentioned in a nutshell, if you keep doing it, you are likely to definitely notice, you know, an increase in numbers and followers and growing in Instagram organically, guys. Please don't worry about numbers so much. It's just vanity's sake. Worry about making a community, worry about being heard, worry about putting out great content, worry about making it look stunning so that brands want to approach you, so that you are a macro, micro, nano influencer, any kind of influencer. No matter how many followers you have, people still want to associate with you. People still want to do sponsored content with you. So ultimately you have to sit down with your plan and figure it out, and then space it out accordingly, see the timings of postings, do stories, just be on Instagram more. And yeah, sooner or later you will see a lot of these things work for you in your favor. Don't worry about the numbers. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to take any questions, but hello?
Hi Sonam, can you hear me?
I can.
I
Nupur?
hope so.
Yeah,
Sonam, silly question, but I'm still going to ask you here.
sure.
What is the difference between IGTV videos and reels, for example?
See, IGTV videos are a long form video format, Nupur. So basically, it's TV. Essentially, it's television. So you obviously have a longer, you know, watching period time and recording time for it. Also, it's a different. It's a sub platform of the platform, which basically, so is Reels, but Reels is within your interface. But IGTV comes up on the explore page, which basically makes it more discoverable. Reels too, but IGTV has a longer format video, like I said, so it makes it more discoverable. Also, it gives people, it encourages people to spend more time because the videos are longer. So up to, I think up to 10 minutes you can upload, or I think they may have raised it to 15 minutes for any account under 10,000 followers. But above 10,000 followers, or if you're doing from a laptop, you can upload up to 60 minutes. So even you'll see a lot of
Wow.
filmmakers, they're uploading entire movies and stuff on IGTV. Reels are very TikTok short format content, very funky, quirky, funny, include music from Reels. They have, again, it's like dynamic stories, so story like static stories, and then you have dynamic stories. You throw in some music, you do a dance move. A lot of the entertainers, a lot of these interesting filters and effects that you can use on Reels. It's just very consumable very quickly. IGTV is a slightly more serious business. I think IGTV is very, very cool for people like yourself, because I know you're an actor and you're also into marketing and you're also into a lot of these interesting things. So for someone like you, IGTV, Reels as well, but Reels, sometimes I get when I see a lot of Reels, I get like, oh, I can't do this,
I
but
know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, thanks,
yeah,
Sonam.
no
But
problem.
just, like, how does one keep oneself updated with these algos that you talk about that keep changing every few days or hours? So
You know,
is it just about spending a lot of time on the
that's it.
platform?
That's it. And that's so one key fits all. Spend more time on Instagram, because that's the only way because until you test and until you see how many likes or followers you're gaining with the amount of content that you're putting daily, you wouldn't
Hmm.
know the difference. So say, I put out something today and got more likes than what I did yesterday, but I would try to figure out what is it I did differently today. So
Hmm.
because most of the times we're reproducing content, but we're doing it in different clothing or in different contexts and stuff. No, there isn't, if you think about it, there isn't a huge change or in the language of content that one does.
Hmm.
So unless we move from a static post to a video post, then of course the numbers, the difference, that still makes sense. However, if you're doing from a post to a post, or from a reel to a reel, or from, say, a video to a video, and then you notice something different, then you know exactly what's happening. There is something going on with the algos.
Yeah.
And the more you post, the more you understand your audiences, the more comments, DMs. Another way of understanding how well your post or your feed is doing is by the amount of DMs that you get. Now, DM has become the next metric for engagement. So, if you're getting a lot of, say, that other inbox thing, if you go into your
Yeah.
inbox, thing, so check that. A lot of the times, you'll see a lot of people sending you messages randomly, and you need to know so figure out the date. What did you post on that particular date? And DMs have now, they're being rated and weighed as the top engagement metrics
So
tools.
the DM that you're talking about is basically like, suppose I'm watching a story of you and immediately I write something to you. That's a DM, right?
That's a DM. Whatever
That's
you get in your inbox,
yeah.
and even if you get those highs and it's a friendship karoge types DMs also, because but that makes you understand. That's telling you something about the content. That's saying that
Right.
it's reaching out to a wider audience, and they're sending you direct messages. Direct messages are they're a huge boost to the account. So if you're getting more of those other inbox messages and direct messages, you need to see where is it, what did I do that particular day that I'm getting those messages.
And
So
I think it
yeah.
also gives you an option. Sorry, I hope I'm not taking too much time, but I have this question. So it has this option of, from a business account, for example, it gives you an option of moving the message to a primary or a general
Correct.
stack. What does that mean?
So, importance. What
Okay, okay.
what do you want? So, because primary normally shows on most phones will show you a notification if you receive a primary DM. Generic, I think by default it's muted. So it'll
Right.
just show you that red bit on top. and then
Yeah.
you'll have to see, okay, generic में भी message है kind of thing. So
Hmm.
so it's up to you. It depends on the importance that you want to give that person. So a lot of the times I put messages in my generic content that I don't want to really address at that moment, but maybe later on sometime when I get the time I will. They're
Huh.
not that important, but all collaboration things, all friends and family and contacts, you put it in your primary, because that's your primary inbox. That's like your inbox, that's like your Gmail primary account, and then spam sort of.
Got it. But thank you so much, Sonam. This was amazing.
I'm
Hats off to
glad.
what you've done. Thanks.
I'm glad.
Hi Sonam, this is Vidhi.
Hi, Vidhi.
Yeah, I joined a bit late,
Okay.
but the information what I grabbed was like very informative. But my question is like I have a food page on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and like I was new to it, so for the first 2 days, my friends and family followed, and then it happened to be like I gained like 100 followers in a day,
Yeah,
like
of course.
150 followers in a day, because they were already friends
Family
and
and
family.
friends, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very
And
good way to
then
start, by the way.
yeah, and then
First, get it
like I
out in
was
your
posting
circles.
regularly on
Mm-hmm.
just like on the same time. I
Mm-hmm.
just noticed my audience, and like I posted on the same time. But then slowly and gradually, like apart from the friends and family followers, I got other followers as well. And then slowly and gradually, like I was posting daily for like a month, I saw like my followers were just decreasing. It's like I've heard and I've read everywhere, like if you want your like if you want to be the new algorithm of Instagram, you gotta post daily, and then you have to like see the audience like basically. But then I thought like it doesn't it look like a spam for the viewers, like क्या है रोज ही
Yeah.
करके post आ जाता
I
है
think I think
like.
Vidhi, you may have come into the part where I was actually talking about this only. So what
Yeah,
is
that is why I said
happening?
I joined a bit late. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So what is happening
Yeah.
is Instagram अपने आप भी चीजें साफ कर रहा है. So they're already cleaning a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these fake accounts and stuff. So you will definitely
Oh,
notice a decline regardless. For example, I lost 100 followers in the last 2-3
yeah,
days,
yeah, yeah,
and I'm wondering मैं तो रोज कर रही हूँ, मेरा तो stories भी मतलब झटाझट जा रहा है एकदम कुछ
true,
तड़ातड़
true.
सब कुछ हो रहा है. But it's not the case. So what's happening is that there is a whole bunch of behind the scenes activities that happen जो हमें नहीं पता चलता as users. What we
Mm-hmm.
can do is we can try our best in just maintaining a certain level of consistency and believing in our content. कम हो रहा है कोई बात नहीं,
Okay,
कुछ टाइम के लिए कम होएगा कोई बात नहीं, but you the
okay.
followers that you will gain after that decline, उसके बाद जो आप followers gain करोगे, they will all be genuine, engaging, good followers. Because if you're doing the right things, if you're doing the if you're employing all these best practices, अगर आप फूड ब्लॉग हो तो आप रोज एक अच्छी सी फोटो खींच के डाल रहे हो, बाकी फूड रिलेटेड ब्लॉगर्स या रेस्टोरेंट्स को टैग कर रहे हो, वॉइस क्लिप्स डाल आई मीन सॉरी वीडियो क्लिप्स डाल रहे हो, स्टोरीज डाल रहे हो, पोल्स
Mm-hmm.
डाल रहे हो, आपको ये पसंद है या ये पसंद है, इन्फोग्राफिक्स डाल रहे हो, उसके हेल्थ न्यूट्रिशनल फैक्ट्स डाल रहे हो. ट्राई एज अ फूड ब्लॉगर, आई
Mm-hmm.
have a piece of advice. Try and supplementing your food photos, product जो product कह रही sorry, अपनी खाने की pictures को supplement करो with some facts. uh,
Okay.
and maybe try it. And Canva करके एक there is a tool that you can actually design a lot of these.
Actually, I'm an illustrator.
Oh, brilliant. So और क्या चाहिए
Yeah.
मतलब. So you can do extremely interesting styles of presenting your content, like have a doodle somewhere here, there. Try
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thinking of, yeah,
Like
go ahead.
I don't know if you find it, it's like I don't know. That sounds like very Besharam types. So like I don't know if you could really visit my page and help me out do that. Like I
Yeah,
mean
give me your
just an advice. It's
yeah.
Rangeen Chatkare. The name is Rangeen Chatkare.
Rangeen,
Chat
RANG double E.
Rangenkaaare. Rangeen Chatkare.
Hatkare.
Tkaare.
Rangeen Chatkare. Now see, it's a bit of a mouthful of a name, so लोगों को याद करने में थोड़ा problem होगा. But now I'm gonna check it out. I'll see what you're doing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
very interesting, quirky thing. But if you're an illustrator, try. आप जितना नीश बनाओगे ना अपने फूड ब्लॉग को, अगर आपके पास कोई और स्किल
I've
है,
tried that. I've tried that. Like,
सो कीप
I
ट्राइंग
mean,
ट्राइंग, मतलब
yeah.
ये नहीं कि एक हफ्ते में या 2 हफ्ते में रिजल्ट आएगा. यू हैव टू कीप डूइंग इट फॉर से यू नो 1-3 महीना तो कम से कम एक रिजल्ट आने में दिखता है. हम भी एज मार्केटर्स वी टेल आवर क्लाइंट्स की 3 months यू हैव टू गिव अस टू शो यू सम level of or scaling up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. True.
मैंने आप एक तरीका ट्राई करो, एक प्लान बनाओ, एक स्ट्रैटेजी को डिज़ाइन करो जिसमें आप फूड का न्यूट्रिशनल फैक्ट्स हो या इलस्ट्रेशंस को किस तरह अगर आपको यूज़ करना है, प्रोडक्ट क्यों बोल रही हूँ मैं मतलब फोटोग्राफी करनी है, तो ऑल ऑफ दैट एंड ट्राई कमिंग ऑन वीडियोस इफ यू कैन पॉसिबली. जब आप
Yeah, yeah.
लोकेशन पे होते हो, जैसे आप जगह कवर करते हो, तो आपका वहाँ पे होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. इफ़ यू देयर एंड इफ़ यू यू गिव देम अ 360 degree पूरा व्यू ऑफ व्हाट यू डूइंग देयर. इफ यू स्टैंडिंग विद द शेफ इंटरव्यूज कर सकते हो अगर, तो नथिंग लाइक इट. बहुत कुछ है, थिंक अबाउट.
True, true.
So have a look at this. So one of the people, one of the handles that I work with, यहाँ दिल्ली में काफी बड़ा होता है palette fest. They're very good with it's a food festival and a lot of restaurants and stuff that have stalls and stuff there. So बहुत
Yeah.
interesting करते हैं restaurants और बहुत सारे तरीके होते हैं. So have a look at multiple, अपने competition को देखो, inspirational
Okay.
accounts को देखो, and see if you can work with something niche
Sure,
that'll
sure,
work for you.
sure.
But I'll have a
Thank
look.
you.
Reach out.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. What's your Instagram handle like? I'm joining
Zaffarah.
late, sir.
Zaffarah. So
Pardon?
it's Z A double F
ZA.
A
Yeah.
double FARAH. But if you
Okay.
type
Oh.
Sonamm Sharma, you'll also get that. But Sonamm with a double M on social
Oh.
media.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonan. It was
No
nice
problem.
talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Guys, you can also reach out to me via my Instagram account. And if I can help in any way, I would try to. And hopefully, we can do more of these things in these interactive sessions, classes with Spark.live soon, so that everything, because like I said, things keep moving, evolving, changing with the platform. And hopefully, we'll have a plan in place wherein we can um, go more into details and descriptively into how to increase your account organically.